For water, I like to have jars because they're pretty heavy and they won't tip over. If you have multiple jars of water, you can clean your paints a couple of times and make sure they're really clean. So when one water gets dirty, you can set it aside and keep working. This will enable you to keep working without stopping as much. I also just picked up this container for some other reason, but it's nice too for a water container because see how it's not going to tip over. I also like to have my paint brushes upright, so if I have this little jar inside here, I can keep my paint brushes upright so that I can see them. It's super great to have a spray bottle handy. Sometimes when you want to water down your paint, you can just spray it, or if you have paint on your palette and you're working with, obviously, with acrylics, you can keep spraying every once in a while your acrylics to keep them wet, or you can, when you're storing your paint back in those jars, you can spray this in the jar and close the lid. So I recommend getting a nice little paint sprayer. These jars are glass and they're good for storing paint. So when you're working on a project and you're going to have a lot of paint left over, it's nice to have these jars that you can stick them in. When you put the paint in here and you spray it with water and close it, it stays just like a tube. The other thing that's really convenient to have are these small plastic little containers, so that when you're painting and you have leftover paint, again, you can just stick the paint in here real quick. I like these blue shop towels because they don't produce lint. So when you're wiping off your brushes, you won't add lint to your brushes that then gets on your painting. So nice blue shop towels. The other great thing about these shop towels is they're pretty hardy, so you can use them and you can actually rinse them out and delicately wring them dry and then open them up, lay them flat so that they can dry and you can reuse them over and over and over again. Tube wringer keys are a nice thing to have because when your paint tubes start to get low, you can apply one of these to the end of your tube and roll it up. If you have a larger tube and this isn't large enough, you can bend the tube end at the end. And then this will slip right on there. I like using a kitchen scrub brush to scrub down my palette or my brushes or my palette knives. It also helps me clean out my jars a lot quicker, so it's nice to have one of these for cleaning. And good old ziploc bags are great for storing everything. So they're cheap, and then they're also airtight, so you can just double up your protection on your paintings, keeping them nice and airtight. Especially those little plastic containers and jars, those are great to keep. You want to wet those when you put the paint inside them, and then you can put them in a bag, and you can also spray the bag so it just keeps moisture in the environment.